Alright boys, welcome back to the video, and today we're going to be talking about my top medicine perk picks. Pretty much what I will choose most of the time when I'm playing, and I will explain which ones are kind of a toss-up. But if you want to just click off the video right now, here are the top picks. They're right here on your screen. These are my top picks. But if you want my explanations for every single pick and why I chose it, why I think it's good, stay tuned. Alright? But before we start, I have videos currently on riding, scouting, charm, leadership, steward, and roguery. And this one's going to be about medicine. If you want to check out the other videos, and also I'm going to be doing all the skills as well, just over time, you know, I drop these videos maybe like once a week. But over time, all of these will be in the playlist. The playlist is the first link down below. So if you want to check out the ones I've already done, go do that. Alright? Without further ado, let's get right into the video. So what is medicine? Medicine pretty much helps you with, you know, healing, your survival chance, and your healing rate. It's very simple. How do you get it? Well, if your main character gets wounded, if troops that are in your party get wounded, once they start healing up, or once they even get wounded, you'll get some experience, and then once they heal up, you'll get more experience. So that's just how it works. You gain it gradually as the game goes on. All right? So without further ado, let's get to it with the perks. So first, we have preventive medicine versus self-medication. So preventive medicine is plus 5 hit points and plus 30% recovery of lost hit points after each battle, versus 30% healing rate and plus 2% combat movement speed. Alright, so the first one, hit points I think are always good. Just, you know, max your health up. Again, this 5 hit points can really save you sometimes from like that one extra rock or that one extra swing that you take or that one extra arrow that you get hit with. You never know. I like it. But what I like more than that is the 30% recovery of lost hit points after each battle. This does not have to do with hit points that you've lost during that current battle. If you go into a battle wounded and you lose no hit points in that battle, you will still recover 30% of whatever health you are missing, regardless if you took any damage during that battle. So it's your total missing health after each battle, if that kind of makes sense. So you don't actually have to take damage in a battle, or, you know what I mean? None of that. If you enter a battle with 50% of your hit points missing, you're 50% HP, and you exit with 50% HP, and you lose no actual HP during that battle, you don't take any hits, well, you're still going to get that 30% recovery. And while the 30% healing rate, it kind of does the same thing, but it's more over time, the healing rates. But I enjoy this one because, you know, you're going to be in a lot of battles, and especially early game, it's really good to just bounce back really quick after each battle that you do take, especially since you're going to take a lot of solo battles. You're going to take a lot of battles versus looters that are going to throw a lot of rocks at you. And, you know, getting that 30% just heal off the bat is really good, so you can get into your next battle as soon as possible. Plus the 2% combat movement speed. This only has to do with your movement speed whenever you're not on a mount. In early game, I suggest you stay on a horse. So it's not the best. 2%, nothing. It's not really too crazy. Maybe 5%, 10%. Maybe I would look at it differently. 2%, it's not the best in my opinion. Next, triage. I think that's how you say it. Triage tent versus walk it off. So triage tent, we have 30% healing rates when stationary on the campaign map. And then the governor perk obviously doesn't make it doesn't really matter for your main character. Versus 50% healing rate when moving on the campaign map, and then plus 10 hit points recovery after each offensive battle. So this one, walk it off, works great with the one that we previously got, the preventive medicine. So now not only will you get the 30% recovery, you'll get another 10 hit points on top of that if you are the one to attack. So if you are the one to start the battle, which most of the times you start more battles in Bannerlord than you actually defend, more likely than not. You know what I mean? That's usually how most people's playthroughs go. But you'll get extra 10 hit points after the battle is over. Plus the 50% healing rate when you're moving is better than the 30% when you're stationary, because you're going to be moving a lot more than when you're stationary. That's just how it is. So again, it's a lot better in my opinion. Next, so that's why I picked walk it off. Next, we have Doctor's Oath versus Sledges. So Doctor's Oath, your medicine skill also applies to enemy casualties, increasing potential prisoners, and then another 5 hit points. Versus Minus 50% party speed penalty from the wounded, and plus 15 hit points to your mounts in your party. So this one I chose because the whole medicine skill also applies to enemy casualties. You can get a lot more prisoners. You can do a lot of stuff with prisoners. You can sell them. You can trade them in for influence and also reputation. It's pretty good. And obviously there's other perks and other skill trees that, you know, prisoners can also carry more stuff. It's just overall, it's the better one. Where is it? Right over here. Plus the extra 5 extra hit points. That's plus 10 now if you include this one as well. So again, very, very good. Plus 10 extra hit points. It's not bad, especially early game. And then the minus 50% party speed penalty from the wounded. Again, it's good, but it's not as good as you know, getting more prisoners, you know what I mean, or in the 5 hit points. It's just not as good in my opinion. And the plus 15 hit points for your mounts in your party, maybe if you have an all-mounted party, maybe. But I still think your hero having an extra 5 hit points is still better. You know, it's kind of a toss-up, but not really. You can kind of... This one kind of makes sense if you have like an all-mounted party and that's what you're going for the whole time. But then again, it's only for your mounts, not your hero. So, and you can always get another horse. So I think the one that increases your max HP is a lot better. Next, we have his best medicine versus good lodging. So best medicine is 50% healing rate while party morale is above 70. And then plus 1 relationship per day with a random notable over the age of 50 when party is in town. There it is. And then versus 20% healing rate when resting in towns. And then you get the same one, plus 1 relationship per day with a random notable over the age of 50 when the party is in a town. So I chose this one right over here because your morale being above 70, it's not that hard to get morale above 70. It's actually quite easy in this game to keep your morale high. So I might make a video if people are having trouble with it. But there's so many perks even that increase your morale. I might make a video on how to keep your morale like literally at 100 almost all the time. It's not that hard. But you'll be above 70 morale a lot more than you will be resting in settlements. Whenever you rest in a settlement, whenever you click the wait button in towns, the problem is you're not doing anything really. And in Bannerlord, if you really want to kind of progress, you don't want to just sit around. You know what I mean? Because your wages are still gonna tick every day. You know, everything still ticks every day, so you still have to, you know, keep up. So again, even though it's only 20%, they should have made it like 30% healing rate. Then it probably would have been a good trade-off. And obviously the second perk, the plus 1 relationship per day, it's the same for each one. You know what I mean? Technically this one, it's kind of more stronger because, you know, you're more inclined to, you know what I mean, rest in settlements. If you take this perk, I still think this one is better because you're going to be above your party morale. It's very easy to keep it above 70. I'm not saying keep it at 100, but above 70, definitely very possible. Next, we have Siege Medic versus Veterinarian. So Siege Medic, a 50% chance of troops getting wounded instead of getting killed during siege bombardment, and 30% chance to recover from lethal wounds in siege battles. Versus 30% daily chance to recover a lame horse, and 50% chance to recover mounts from dead cavalry troops in battle. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a toss-up in my opinion, because I do like this as well. Recover from a lame horse. A lame horse is pretty much a horse that gets wounded in battle, and then it just it like pretty much its stats get worse. Like really, it's like a big penalty to its stats, right? And with this perk, obviously, daily, your horse can recover, and then the recover chance I'm pretty sure is 0% initially. So this gives it an actual chance. You know what I mean? Before it's no chance, but now it's 30% chance. So that's kind of good. But, and then also the 50% chance to recover mounts of dead cavalry troops in battle. You'll get a lot more horses in your inventory. So again, that might be good for trading, might be good for inventory space, might be good for your upgrades. So it's not that bad of a choice. The reason I chose Siege Medic is because you're going to be in a lot of sieges. And sieges really, you lose a lot of army whenever you, you know, or a lot of party troops whenever you participate in any siege, whether you're a vassal inside of an army or you're the army leader, right? And the whole 50% chance of troops getting wounded instead of getting killed is pretty big. it's pretty big. And the 30% chance to recover from lethal wounds in siege battles, like, again, these are very, very strong, and you're gonna lose a lot of troops, and this helps you lose a lot less troops. So in my opinion, I think it's really good. And it's pretty much the siege bombardment is what they're talking about. It's pretty much whenever your siege engine gets destroyed, how much troops you lose. So I think in the long run, while this will get you more coins, this will save you a lot later game whenever you are trying to get on the conquest and take over a lot of settlements, castles, and all of that. I think it's really worth it. But if you're not planning on doing that, well, then this is more worth it, right? If you're not planning on being in a lot of sieges, then this is probably the choice for you. So that's why I chose Siege Medic. But again, this is a toss-up, really. Next we have Bush Doctor versus Pristine Streets. So Bush Doctor up. The only thing you really have is the plus 20% party healing rate while waiting in villages versus plus 20% healing rate while waiting in towns. Pristine Streets is the one you choose because you're going to be waiting in towns more than you're going to be waiting in villages. It's just as simple as that. I'm pretty sure the healing rate is actually stronger in settlements than in villages. Don't quote me on that. But you're always going to be waiting in settlements for longer because, they have the tournaments, they have the tavern, they have everything. Villages, really, the only thing you're going to do is pop in, recruit, buy a couple, a little bit of food, maybe talk to a quick notable. But then again, you're not really waiting in the village. While in a town, you might be waiting for a tournament to start. You might be waiting for various things. It's just whenever you're in the game, you're more likely than not going to be in a town rather than a village, and you're going to stay in a town for longer than in a village. Next we have and that's why I chose Pristine Streets. Next we have is Health Advice versus Perfect Health. So Health Advice, chance of recovery from death due to old age for every clan member, okay? And wounded troops do not decrease morale in battles. Versus 5% recovery rate for each type of food in party inventory. And then 10% animal production. Oh, that one doesn't really matter. So plus 5% recovery rate for each type of food in party inventory. I don't think it's as good as both of these. So the chance of recovery from death due to old age for every clan member makes it so you'll live longer. You and all your other clan members. Pretty good. You know what I mean? You'll live a little bit longer. You'll fight a little bit longer. But also, wounded troops do not decrease morale in battles is huge. Because if you're really losing a battle, if it's really close, morale does matter. And if your morale falls down too much, well, guess what? Your troops are going to start retreating. They're going to start deserting you in the middle of a battle. This will make it so, guess what? Now, they will not. So, pretty good. They're going to stay there. They're going to fight. Pretty good. And then the 5% recovery rate for each type of food in your party inventory. Again, you have to keep up with all the food. And, this far into the game with level 175, I'll be honest with you, it's kind of tedious because your party's going to eat up a lot. You're probably going to have a very large party. And unless you have 100 of each type of food, they're going to eat, because usually what happens is grain and fish are like the main food that you're gonna have a ton of, right? And then all the other foods and probably meat, but grain and fish is the main ones. And then after, you might have 200 grain, maybe 150 fish, and then you'll have 23 meat, 13 dates, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit, you know what I mean? So, and they usually eat up, your party usually eats everything up. And then, you're only going to be really left with grain and fish at the end of the day. So you're really going to have to keep track of that. And again, it's not as worth it as these right here. Pretty much, letting you recover from death due to old age for not only you, but your other clan members. And obviously the wounded troops not decreasing morale. Two pretty strong perks versus one kind of iffy one. So that's why I chose Health Advice. Next, we have is Clean Infrastructure versus Physician of People. So Clean Infrastructure, +1 prosperity bonus from civilian projects in the government settlements. Oh, these are both government things. Oh yeah, so this one's clear. Both of these aren't going to work for you because you're not going to be a governor. And then this one, +30% chance to recover. Oops. +30% chance to recover from lethal wounds for Tier 1, Tier 2 troops. There you go. It's pretty good. You know what I mean? 30% chance to not die and instead become wounded. Not bad for your tier 1 and tier 2 troops. Not bad. You're going to be recruiting a lot of tier 1 and tier 2 troops late game, especially if you lose a huge battle and you know, you need a lot of troops. You're going to go to a town, you're going to go to a village. If they have a lot of tier 1, tier 2 troops, guess what? They're going to go into battle with you next time, and then, you know, there's a 30% chance they don't die now. Pretty good. So that's why I chose Physician of People. Next, Cheat Death versus Fortitude Tonic. So Cheat Death due to old age once, and minus 50% chance to die. Minus 50% chance to die when you fall unconscious in battle, versus plus 10% hit points to other heroes in your party, and plus 5 hit points to yourself. I chose this one, a Fortitude Tonic, because A, plus 10 hit points to other heroes in your party. It's pretty strong, especially if you have a lot of heroes in your party. If you have a lot of companions, family members in your party that ride along with you, it's pretty strong bonus. And plus another 5 hit points, that makes it plus 15 now in total. So, hey, pretty beefy. This one's kind of cool though. Cheat Death due to old age once. That's cool, I guess. You know, but eventually you're going to have to give it to your heir. Eventually you're going to have to give it up, old man, and move on. You know, it happens. And then minus 50% chance to die. Minus 50% chance to die when you fall unconscious in battle. Also good. Again, this one's kind of a toss-up, I would say. If you want to really keep your guy alive as long as possible, then I guess Cheat Death is the way to go. I usually play with kind of my heirs after the main guy dies, you know what I mean? I try to build a big family, and then you kind of, you know, you go on, you move on. Time moves on, people move on. It is what it is, right? But if you want your main guy to stay alive, if you have everything almost maxed out, kind of like how this looks, right? Well, then guess what? Cheat Death is probably the right option for you. But if you roll around with a lot of companions, a lot of family members in your party, and they all have very good perks as well, and you want to keep them alive for longer, this 10 hit points for each hero in your party is very, very strong. Makes them a lot more beefier. Plus, it makes you more beefier with the 5 hit points to yourself. And that's why I chose Fortitude Tonic. Next, we have Battle Hardened versus Helping Hands. So Battle Hardened, we have plus 25 experience to wounded units at the end of the battle, versus plus 2% troop recovery for every 10 troops in your party. Okay, so again, this one, I like the experience more. This will make it so your troops will obviously level up a lot quicker. You're going to have a lot of wounded troops, especially late game. We're looking at level 250. You're going to be in plenty of sieges. You're going to be in plenty of battles. You're going to have a bunch of troops. And a lot of them are going to get wounded after those battles because you're going to have big battles. So they're going to have a lot of wounded troops at the end of those battles. So therefore, the experience will do a lot, and it will make them level up a lot quicker. But the recovery rate is actually pretty good as well. I'm not going to lie to you. For example, if you have, 200 troops, yeah, you actually at level 250 medicine, you probably have like 300 troops, you know. And I have a video on YouTube on how to get 500 party size. So this can actually get pretty out of hand in terms of your recovery rate. I'm not gonna lie to you, because what is that? So that'd be 60% troop recovery rate for every 10 troops. Yeah, so this is a toss-up in my opinion too. So if you want them to recover a lot faster, there you go, Helping Hands. But if you want to get more experience and in turn level them up faster, then Battle Hardened is the choice. I like to make them level up faster, so Battle Hardened is my choice. And lastly, the only option is Minister of Health, because that is the only option, and it is the best option. Plus 1 hit points to troops for every 2 skills above 200. It's kind of crazy. Makes them pretty tanky. But that'll do it for me, and I will see you guys in the next one.